New in the last 5 minutes, hundreds of Faylaq al-Rahman militants, family members leave Eastern Ghouta in the last 15 minutes. Syria in past 24 hours, army imposes control over 90% of Eastern Ghouta. Syria's Damascus, 106,000 Syrians evacuated from Eastern Ghouta in the last hour. Syria war, rebel evacuations from Eastern Ghouta gather pace. Ghouta residents pack ahead of new evacuations. Syrian rebels depart Syria's Ghouta. Douma stands alone in the last 2 hours. Over 5,000 Syrian civilians depart E. Ghouta's evacuations continue. Syrians await new evacuations from second to last rebel zone in Ghouta in the last 4 hours. Syria forces close to gaining full control of Eastern Ghouta. Terrorist tunnel network discovered in Eastern Ghouta. Civilians continue leaving Syrian Eastern Ghouta. Russian Defense Ministry in the last 6 hours. In the last 8 hours, more militants evacuated from Syria's Eastern Ghouta. 981 people including rebels evacuated from Ghouta earlier today. Ghouta safe passage, a ruse for Assad's ethnic cleansing. 8 kidnapped people freed from rebels' captivity in Syria's Eastern Ghouta. Syrian opposition groups. Civilians leave penultimate Ghouta pocket. Syria rebels leave opposition pocket of Ghouta. Syria opposition groups. Civilians leave penultimate Ghouta pocket. Syria rebel evacuations gather pace. Yesterday, Syria rebels. Civilians leave penultimate Ghouta pocket. Syrian army pauses bombing as rebels leave Ghouta. Rebels and residents begin to leave East Ghouta city in fur. Civilians and rebels evacuate Syria's Ghouta. Syria forces close to full control of Eastern Ghouta. Estimated 105,000 Syrians have left Eastern Ghouta. Al-Nusra Front joins E. Ghouta evacuation deal. Douma last rebel enclave near Damascus. As rebel evacuations continue, over 105,000 civilians have fled Syria's Eastern Ghouta. More than 105,000 civilians fled Eastern Ghouta amid apocalypse. Ghouta exodus continues as Syrian army strengthens grip on city. Syrian army uses high-tech drones in Eastern Ghouta operations. Syria elder seeks memories in debris of E. Ghouta home watch. Syrian army use UAVs to liberate parts of Eastern Ghouta. Over 105,000 Syrian civilians have left Eastern Ghouta. Over 5,000 leave E. Ghouta's evacuation continues. Syria rebels prepare to quit enclave on Damascus doorstep. Jabbar, Samalka and Urban's radicals reported the decision to flee the area. Terrorists' longest trench in Eastern Ghouta discovered by Syrian army. Syrian army readying to capture 4 key regions in Eastern Ghouta. Syria, Russian army firms grip on Ghouta. Russia says over 105,000 civilians have left Syria's Eastern Ghouta. Thousands expected to leave second pocket in Syria's Ghouta. Russia says over 105,000 civilians have left Syria's Eastern Ghouta. Syrian rebels quit Ghouta. Douma stands alone. Syria rebels prepare to quit penultimate pocket of Ghouta. Bombs targeting Damascus are similar to those targeting Douma. Syrian army imposes control over 90% of Eastern Ghouta. Syria, Assad closes in on Ghouta as rebels leave Syria. 103,606 Syrians evacuated from Eastern Ghouta. Eastern Ghouta, harassed. A liberated view from the house, seeking resolution to Syrian conflict. Syrian evacuation convoy reaches Idlib from E. Ghouta. Almost 3,100 militants and their families leave Eastern Ghouta in one day. As soon as Daesh seized power, tortures began. Eastern Ghouta resident. Syria, Assad close to defeating rebels in Ghouta. Syrian army, aided by Russia, regains control over most of Damascus suburbs. Syrian forces capture 90% of Eastern Ghouta. 120,000 people evacuate Syria's Eastern Ghouta in 8 days. Monitor. In the last 7 days, Syrian army seizes militant strongholds in Eastern Ghouta. Source. Syria announces militants leave harassed in E. Ghouta. Syrian army now controls 90% of Eastern Ghouta. Syrian rebels quit Ghouta as regime nears full control. Syrian rebels agree to evacuate sick, wounded from Ghouta. All kinds of illegal weapons used in E. UN Spock. Syria, second evacuation deal reached in Eastern Ghouta.